Hey everyone, my name is Mackenzie. I'm a preschool teacher here in Southwestern City School District. I have a caseload of 14 students. Seven of them come Monday, Tuesday, and seven of them come Thursday, Friday. To keep class sizes small, they split the groups up. And then when they're not in school, they're learning virtually. So we have that blended learning model. We also don't have any typical peers this year, which is normally how this preschool classroom is run. But to comply with COVID restrictions, we needed to keep the class sizes small. So all of my students are on IEPs. So it makes the dynamic a little different this year. Um, I do have a lot of very strong personalities in my classroom. So we have a lot of students that are working on the ability to comply with adult directions, to begin an activity, to complete an activity, to transition successfully. So I have a lot of different strategies that I implement in my classroom that help with all of those skills. So one thing that I do have, I use a lot of universal design for learning in my instruction. So part of that is giving a lot of autonomy over to students so that they're in control of their education, they're in control of the choices that they make. So in doing that, a lot of my students don't like to comply with being told what to do. So we have to change our approach on a lot of things. So rather than telling a student it's time to go to the bathroom, we give that responsibility to them. So I have a visual that says needs to go potty or went potty. And these are like the student pictures. And so it is their responsibility to know that it is an expectation to go to the bathroom while you're at school. So they have to find their picture after they go potty and they move it. This is their job. This is their responsibility. So we don't have that power struggle by not wanting to comply to being told what to do. So that is one strategy that I use. Another strategy that I use is a choice board and a visual that shows them something to work for. So it's on our whiteboard so they can all see it, so they can be constantly reminded that they are working for something and that they need to continue to comply to directions, to maintain a safe body, to make good choices, and then they can have their preferred item. So I have a board that looks like this. It says I am working for. I have the student's name in the corner so they know it's their board. And then they have a choice board. It's posted on the wall. And then they can choose what item they're working for. So iPad or Chromebook is a preferred item of many of the students. I have some that like to listen to a song or play with Play-Doh. So they will choose their option that they're going to work for. And then as they comply with requests, or they clean up their toys, or they transition, or whatever the student needs to be working on, they earn those gold coins, and when they have 4 gold coins, then they earn their whatever item they were working for. So that has been working really well. I have one friend that really struggles to transition from gym to the classroom. So that has caused a lot of behaviors, and we were trying to find a strategy that would work for her to reduce the intensity of the behaviors when we completed that transition. So this has worked really well for her. I actually have a backpack I carry to the gym, and so she works for iPad, and because of her level, I have the iPad with me, so she is beginning to link that icon to the actual object. So she can see that she is working for the iPad and that she has to have a safe body while playing in the gym. She has to listen to teachers when we say it's time to be all done, put her toys away, and then walk to the classroom. And she earns her 4 gold coins. And then she gets to have the iPad. So that has worked for her, that she understands that she's being rewarded for the efforts that she's making to complete that transition. And then that she has that immediate reward when she gets into the classroom of that iPad. So that is another strategy that I use to motivate students to display those positive behaviors and to maintain safe bodies. Another strategy that I use that complies with universal design for learning is my center's schedules. So it's a lot of visuals, but it's very customizable depending on the level or the needs of the student. So this is what it looks like. So I have pictures of all the different center options that we have for the day. And students are given the control to choose which centers they're going to play on. They can either use this as a choice board, and they pick sensory table, and they'll go play at sensory table, and then they can come back and check in when they need another option to play. They can plan out a schedule, or we can make this a modified choice board. So for students, if that first choice board was too many options for them, I will just give them 4. And this will be a modified choice board for them. So then they have these 4 options and they can pick one. So that's another way we modify it for students. And then we have some students that will actually take this choice board and then plan their schedule. So there's an arrow that says start here, and that's where they'll put their first center, whichever one they want to do the most. And then they'll plan out the next 3 centers that they want to do. And I have some students that will plan their schedule and then follow it, and they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 for their 4 centers. So that's really cool to see that they're able to do that sequencing and that kind of level of plan and regulation. So that's really cool. I also have, for students that need even more support, a first then. So for some students that are still learning how to follow a schedule, we break it down to first we need you to do something non-preferred, and then you get to have your preferred activity. So this friend really loves to paint. So first you have to come play with me at light table, and then you get to come paint. So kind of helping expand those interests, playing with some different activities, trying some new things, engaging in more types of play, trying to expand that ability level. So that's another strategy that I use, and then they're all up on the wall so that when we're done, or if students need to put the extra centers that they're not using right now, that's where they keep them. The last thing I want to show is our feelings corner. So our feelings corner is free. Whenever you need to use it, you come back here. Their pictures are on the cabinet over here. And so they can come pick their picture, and then they come check in with which zone they're in, which feeling they have. So the green zone, we do the zones of regulation in this district to help students recognize, understand, and cope with their emotions. So green zone means that they're calm and ready to learn. Blue zone's sick, sad, or tired. And then yellow zone's anxious or nervous, excited, any of those. And then red zone is angry. So they can come check in, say, I'm feeling this way, I need a break. And they're allowed to take a break for as long as they need. There's different fidgets, there's different simple put-in activities that they can do to help calm them. A little rocking chair, another soothing thing. And then I also have a friend that really likes to be in those tight spaces. It's soothing for her. So she comes and sits on the beanbag chair, and she kind of pushes herself back into the tub. So she used to hide under my desk, and so now this is where she hides instead. It's a little safer. So those are some of the strategies that I use. I hope to hear from you guys as to some new and exciting strategies that my students might benefit from. I'd also love to hear your feedback if there's some things that you think that I could tweak or maybe improve on that might help my students out a little bit more. All right, thanks.